Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. It is April the 27th. TN Ready is in full effect, whether it's the regular or the makeup. And we are speeding through this school year. That's why we call this episode The Fast and the Furious. We want to take a little time and go back through all the things that have happened this school year. And so we'll talk about that. But first, Sonya, like, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm gonna tell the truth. Like yesterday was like the day from hell. I got so many parents calling me. Like
Mm.
when I say the day from hell, like y'all know how I feel about parents, and when they're not feeling good about something, like I don't have a good day. And
Hmm.
I think I was so tired last night. I was talking to my boyfriend, and I blacked out. I mean, I was just tired. I just fell out, like just from the stress. I think.
It's real. It's
Hmm.
real.
Yeah, so I'm still speaking today.
Yeah. Shoot. But today the weather feels good. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping.
Mm.
We coming fresh off a school board meeting where they discuss policies. We're fresh off. It's hot off the press. We don't even have all the info. We're gonna be pulling that up. But the mayor just gave his state of metro address, which had a lot to address in public education. So we want to talk through that. But when we called this episode,
Hey,
was that?
I see sunshine on here.
Uh-oh, I ain't seen sunshine in a while.
I know. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I'm sorry. I saw sunshine, got excited. Hey, sunshine. I'm sorry, John. You know how I
Nope.
feel about our parents.
It is all good. Parents, I had a good conversation with her, I think, last week. And so her name is appropriately Sunshine because she just made me laugh and smile. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. For most of this school years, it winds down, Sonya. We talked about personalized student dashboard. We talked about high dosage tutoring. We have talked about the university schools, and so it's been a lot of policies. And now that we look back as we get ready to close out this year, start next month, yeah, we want to just take time and reflect around things that the district has started, kind of looking where we're at as we look at promising scholars, as we look at what was the program, Sonya, that where they were checking in with the kids, the navigators.
Yeah, and now they're calling it care days where they're doing like these pop-ups in the community to address issues with students who are having chronic absenteeism.
Okay. So yeah, man, let's just start. So, but before I want to start again, I just wanted to go through, and we'll pull it up a little bit later. But as we think about the mayor's budget, one thing that we want to do, because the for our school system, the mayor funds the school system, but he sends his budget to the Metro Council. And so it's going to be interesting as we go into a new school year, as we talked about a lot of things. What exactly is it doing? But right now, the headlines read that proposed investments include 92 million in new funding for Metro Nashville Public Schools. That encompasses pay raises, well, pay increases for bus drivers, as well as paid family leave for all MNPS education employees. That includes support staff. So this will be really interesting to see how it goes, and look forward to digging in and seeing what the Metro Council has to say as they take on the budget to finalize it.
Can I add something to today to give our audience a breath of fresh air and some good news that I just got that John I hadn't even discussed with you.
Okay.
And because I got it this morning, I actually just saw it about 20 minutes ago. But I want to shout out Vanderbilt students, Sam Aguilera, um,
Okay.
who is a master's student at Vanderbilt Peabody College. She interviewed me back in February for a project that she's doing, and she's getting her master's in, let's see, she's studying education policy. She entered this contest for a project for Oxford Map the Systems competition. And she notified me this morning that they recently won
Oh,
Vanderbilt regional competition and we'll be heading to Oxford, England in the
oh, not.
spring.
Oh, I thought you was talking about Oxford, Mississippi.
No, Oxford, England in the spring to present their findings to a global audience. And so I want to shout them out. And I want to just, and the reason why I want to bring it up because parents like those I always teach people about the danger of the single story, right? Like I constantly talk
Hmm.
about that. That's like dangerous. And so for far too long, like what happens to us is never truly depicted anywhere, right? It's just
Hmm.
assumptions. And so I want to shout out to the team. Want to shout out to the parents for contributing to such a project. There's going to be more opportunities coming up soon for us to partner with them. But I just wanted to celebrate that. I wanted to celebrate with our parents and know that we are doing some great things as we build a movement on behalf of Black and Brown parents and grandparents in the state of Nashville. So
Okay.
wanted to share that with you guys. I thought that was some great news.
That is amazing. Yeah, and I want to say I don't know if you guys remember, but even one of our parents, Shanka Dukaray. Like I saw some stuff online. I was like, look at Shanka. She went from building a powerful parent movement here in Nashville to being international and gracing the stage with stars at Coachella. I was like, look at Shanka Dukaray.
Yeah, and actually, she's having her album drop this weekend on the 30th.
Really?
Yeah, so that's going to be at the Mount Gilead Church. Tickets are, I think, $50. So if you guys want to support her, I can make sure we get this information out um,
Hmm.
to support her in her endeavors. And we usually don't do that, but I think it's great to just to talk about good things when our parents do good things.
Yeah.
And it's April the 30th. It's a concert fundraiser, $50. So shout out to Shanka. She's on our organizer. So we had to
Yeah,
bring.
man.
Thank you,
Yeah,
John.
yeah. Had to bring that in. But Sonya, like as we reflect and we look back at the fast and furious type of school year we had with a lot of initiatives, students fully coming back, listening to parents' concerns, listening to parents, talk about what they care about. What has been your take on this school year as we get ready to close it out? Like what are some of the things that make you go, but what are some of the things you can appreciate?
I'm always start with parents.
Yep.
Um, that's who I appreciate the most. I appreciate the parents in our movement who have the children in this very school system, the parents who are using their voice to make sure that we are heard and that we are holding the system accountable. And let me tell you something. Although most don't like that, like holding the system accountable makes the system better. And when I think about it, John, I think about like if I go to the gym and I get a trainer, right, to help me to lose weight, then that trainer is going to push me, and it's,
Hmm.
it's going to push me to greatness. And that's how I think of us sometimes. We just pushing them to greatness. And we got a long way to turn that boat around. But I want to celebrate the parents who have joined the movement to hold the
Yeah.
system accountable and who are fighting on behalf of all kids. I
Yeah.
want to say that I want to celebrate um, the fact that parents understand that they don't have to be like stranded in a system and that the system should partner with us. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're closer than we've ever been before as
Right.
far as being heard. I don't know if we're listened to, um, if that makes sense. Um,
It does.
I think we've got more programs, we've got more money, and I think it remains to be seen as
Hmm.
to what effect that is having. So, you know, I think one of the things we can celebrate is the kids being in the building,
Hmm.
back into the buildings, which is
Hmm.
it, and that's the biggest thing that I want to celebrate.
Yeah, I think for me, it was just, I mean, I think for me too, the parents. I think when you look at all the parent concerns and the frustrations and going and like having tech and not having tech and going to school and not going to school and getting a dashboard and maybe getting a tutor, and it's just like being able to overcome the adversity, um, and then just appreciate the people who were dreamers during some of our most difficult times of just being able to see the possibility in our kids. And parents, like, not just saying they want a seat at the table, but like taking a seat. We took on some strong campaigns, and I mean, you had parents who were 100% committed, not just about their kids, but about our kids. And I just thought the world of that as we continue to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always tell the parents that essentially the school system belongs to them.
Hmm.
You don't know what belongs to you. You don't know that you have rights. You don't know that you deserve better. And essentially, we determine um, how things kind of end up, whether they go right or they go left. And I think parents are starting to realize that.
Amen. Amen. So I want to take us to one of the articles. I think as we come into budget time, and I'm gonna blow this up quite a bit, but just recently, when I talk about recently, maybe 25, 30 minutes ago, the mayor, and it's just one paragraph, but it said, the budget. When we talk about our budget, this year was about 1 billion. Last year was about 1.3. And so it says proposed investments include 92 million in new funding for Metro Nashville Public Schools, which encompasses pay increases for Metro bus drivers as well as paid family leave for all MNPS education employees, including support staff. And so as we think about what I can appreciate about that campaign that they were driving is they were very vocal, and they came to the table with what they want. And looking at that model, when we think now about education, the academic part and growth for our kids and our community, it's now time to dream about, now what do the parents want? The teachers got an increase. A lot of the support staff this time around, it looks like they're going to get an increase. So what do parents want? Like, let's open that up, Sonia. So if you had the opportunity to put together a budget, when you think about your kids, you think about your family members and just the community, what are some of the things that you want in metro schools if you could help put it in the budget?
First of all, a personalized learning plan that can be operationalized.
Mm.
First of all,
I,
um,
yeah, go ahead.
I just don't understand how you can give personalized learning experiences when there's not a plan. And what I'm hearing about, like the current like PLT time, like I've even heard a student reference it as playtime. Like that's our playtime. And without a plan, like your time does become a playground for things that you know, are not productive. I mean, the mind is like that. If you don't preoccupy the mind with good things and with a plan, it becomes a playground and you get in trouble. And so to hear a kid say that their PLT time was their playtime and their time to do whatever they want to do lets me know that we're really not putting a plan around these children. We're just it just sounds like PR. It just sounds like, let me give you something. And so if you're going to give me something, then give me a plan so that I can have a return on the investment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, Candace jumps in and she says, greetings and salutations.
Mhm.
She said more focus, emphasis on kids' mental health and not just passing the test. And I see Miss Caitlin agreeing. And so, yeah, when you talk about it, and so I would kind of jump on that bandwagon, right? Because I was gonna say, like, the ability for the school system and the administration to partner with parents and kind of see kids through depending on where they want to go in life, whether it's, college, or any other field. But when you think about the personalized learning plan, like that created the idea and ability for you to do just that. And so as we look at, rec investment, when you look at record investment, you also see record like just displeasure, displeasure academically, displeasure culturally, and we hope that we can turn it around. But I think at this time and point, like we got to figure out how parents keep a strong seat or a larger seat at the table to drive it.
Yeah, look, everything not only takes skill, it takes will and determination.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and Miss Taylor says, I want better resources for our children, mental health staff at schools, and more one-on-one teaching, better equipment, and more tutoring options. And I think that that's great. And we're being told we're getting those things. And I think that we have to be more direct in naming what those resources are for
Right.
children. And that's something that we can all brainstorm. But let me tell y'all something, and many people might not like this, but y'all know I'm just going to say what I need to say. And it's not about liking, but it's about love and empathy.
Right.
Let me tell you something. You cannot just address things with the child.
Right. Come
Have
on
to
now.
have it dressed holistically with the family. You can't do social emotional learning in the home because that's self-awareness. I mean, at school and not do it at home. You
Come
have to
on
have
now.
partnership. You
You
have
have
to
to have
do it in
it.
the first place. Right. The self-awareness, the soft skills, all those things. Like we're talking about generations of factors that we've got to do that in both places. I think we have the means. I think I think it's just about us being determined to actually being partners with
Yep.
parents. And partnership looks like everybody is at the table.
Yep.
And
Oh,
yeah, everybody is at the table. And there's no big eyes and there's no little, no little U's. And what I think happens, I went to a meeting with a parent last week about a cultural issue in the school. And Dr. Bellamy, if you're listening,
mm-hmm.
after me explaining to him that I couldn't even go get my glasses, my new glasses, without a complaint from a bus driver about the same school. Mind you, I'm
Mm-hmm.
minding my business. John, you remember I was like, John, I'm gonna go in here to
Yep.
Business Works on my lunch and give me some glasses so I can see.
Yep.
I'm goes up in there and a bus driver in there talking about the same principle that I'm talking to another family. These folks don't even know each other.
Don't even know each other.
And you know what Dr. Bellamy told me? I told him about that. I told him about the alumni. I told him about the students. I told him about the teachers. First of all, he told me that the teachers could go to the teachers union. I said, well, I'm telling you, like they don't go to teachers union because that's not what the teachers union is for. Like
Right.
this is
Right.
school inside the school cultural
Right.
problem. Who's on the schools? It's a teachers union. Maybe he was trying to tell me something I wasn't decoding very well. But anyway,
Okay.
maybe they do it inside the building. But anyway, also he looks at me and tell me that this particular principal, I'm going to say it because I don't care. I hope he called me. Dr. Mills at White Creek
Mm-hmm.
is doing some good work. What you did not say is that he's creating a good culture,
Mm-hmm.
that he's being fair,
Mm-hmm.
that he's showing love and empathy where children really want to come in that building and where teachers want to come in and bus drivers. For some reason, when I get on this show, I think I don't never mind seeing what I got to say.
Mm-hmm.
I just like I'm feeling myself. So I went ahead and said it. Cause see, that's public record. I want the public to know
Hey, that's
that
a
this
big
stuff is happening. For him to go from Madison Middle School to Weiss Creek with the same complaints. These are complaints I got about him 3 or 4 years ago
okay.
from bus drivers and parents and students. The same stuff.
Same stuff.
Some of the same exact words. That sounds like a trend.
So it sounds like a culture, a culture problem. Whatever you do one place, you just bringing it to the next place. And honestly, why stop if it looked like you got a promotion?
And
You,
if my friends say that they like me,
yeah, yeah. It's time out. Yeah, I remember the Madison piece because that was around the time we were getting started. I knew some Madison families. And just how long has he been at White Creek?
1 year.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it was even 2 years ago. I remember
So
coming by.
2 years? I think he came in the middle of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is his first year with it being open.
Mm-hmm.
Thing, picking, bullying, talking funky to bus drivers and teachers and all that stuff and students. And let me tell you something. Like some people called me last night with some stuff, y'all. Like we don't get involved in everything, but when I see a trend, when I see evidence, when there's
Yep.
receipts, like we have to speak out about this. And so I would like to see them invest some money into some bias training,
Oh
some
wow.
some some training on. See, this generation X is different. You got to communicate with them in a different way. You cannot communicate with them like you did in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
Run into a brick wall. And so we've got to be skilled in our approach to talking to people. You can't talk to these kids any kind of way. I had a kid that called me last night that they're saying the principal tell them they better stop fucking up. Like you can't talk to a kid like that.
No, no.
Excuse my
Especially if you don't have the
that's what
relationship.
the kid told me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And again, it's the relationship too. From any kid, they'll listen to you. My uncle can tell me, man, when you was a kid, I had to tell you to straighten the F up. But I knew he loved me. I know he cared. I know he'll go above and beyond. And for him, it was tough love. But if he didn't have a relationship there, you know what I'm gonna say? Man, you better get on up out of here. Like I ain't listening to you because I don't see it in you. I don't see that you really care about me.
John, some of these kids, to not their fault,
Yeah.
are dealing with stuff that me as a 46-year-old woman have to deal with.
Yeah.
Kids got their own apartments, having to work a full-time job and go to school.
In high school. This is high
High
school or
school.
college.
High school. And
Wow.
not even close to finishing high school.
Wow.
See, we gotta have some empathy. We gotta have some love. We gotta have some
Hmm.
understanding. Let me tell you what happens with systems. Systems have all these rules that they only want to use when it's good for them. I done
Mm.
heard so many different, like so many of the same situation in a different school. So I'm
Hmm.
like, so what's really the rule here? Like, so why
Hmm.
y'all following y'all what y'all want to is what I hear you saying. So there's a lack of consistency. And with this generation, you have to be consistent. You
You
have
do.
to, and you know what? I think that they want you to be consistent with them. Like, I haven't heard one yet say, well, I don't want, all they're saying is, which one is it? I constantly hear that from students. Well, what's it gonna be? Like, if it's this, then it's this. But y'all keep saying,
Right. Yeah. So we got a lot of conversation going on up here. Krishan says you're right. School staff automatically assume things about a student because they're from the outside looking in. You never know what's going on in the home in their everyday life. It definitely plays a part in the child's ability to learn and focus at school. That's why you have to get the whole story. I wish you would
whole
have
story.
capitalized. Yeah, the whole
You gotta
story
get the
and,
whole
and
story.
and work from there. That's some other stuff. Let me get the whole story.
Come on now. And y'all, I listened to some whole stories last night.
Mm,
After hours, I had to do some investigating. And you got
mm,
to listen to but you got to create a space, John.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, sometimes I have to look at somebody and say, now that's what you told me. Now tell me the truth. Or tell me
yeah.
the rest of it.
But but that's the love though. They can hear it in your voice to say, "Yep,
Yeah. I listen to them and I say, okay, now tell me the rest of it.
right."
You know what they do? Okay, Miss Sonya. Like, how did you see through me with X-ray vision? Because I'm a mother of four. Like,
Come on now.
I got some experience on my resume.
Come on now. You know, Yvonne says I've encountered principals like that. They no longer work for White Creekies in Clarksville. And they're saying, I think you know what you're talking about. Adultification is a thing.
She talking about my good friend Reverend James Bailey. And I grew
Oh
up with
yeah.
him. And he was also principal of the year.
Yeah. Principal of the year. Come on now.
So Mr. Mills, I don't care nothing about that principal of the year. What I care about is the way you treat people and the way your staff feel. And yeah, I'm calling you out, and you probably gonna be mad, but call me 615-509-1916. We can talk about we have some coffee. I can come up there, I can bring my lawn chair up there, I can sit up there and I can let them know. But what we not gonna do, see, cobras don't die. I'm an original cobra. I'm cobra. I'm cobra fed and I'm cobra led. And so what we're not gonna do is create a culture. Because see, when I walked through the walls of the creek, I felt love. Now I might not have got the best education, but I felt love when I was in there, and I felt cared about. I felt cared about. And right now, the students and the parents and the bus drivers and the teachers and the staff don't feel the love and the empathy.
They don't. They don't.
And so I'm just saying, get your stuff together. Get your stuff together.
Yeah. The whole story. Yeah. Get your so we can know the whole story, boy. Oh.
She said, son, I'm going to call you and give you an ear for the whole story. Baby. Sometimes I have to sit there and listen and get the whole story. And sometimes people are really emotional about things that have happened to them. And I have to say, Musa, now calm down and tell me the whole story.
I'm going to tell you, I just think this school year has really given us the ability to, in programs like this, like, you know, the Miss Taylors, the Miss Brewingtons, Yvonne's, we have a group of parents who have just come on here and just really, you know, validated, you know, Miss Moffin, you know, it's just validated a lot of things that we're talking about when the school system can look at us and say, what are you talking about? And the parents come on and validate it. They come on and even the teachers validate it. That's when we learn, like, we in this together.
Man, I went to a meeting with a parent the other day. She had a stack of emails this thick. Look.
Wow.
Where she had been filing complaints and it was falling on deaf ears. And the complaints, let me tell you something. She had receipts and they were valid. They were like, yeah, look. Guess what I did? Guess what I did?
What's that?
Get them. Get them. She came in there. Get them. Like, she had complaint numbers from the customer service desk, who she done talked to, all that.
All her receipts.
What's my mid condition? There's nothing left to say. Nothing left to say. I said, man, like this. I had fell out of my chair. My back was hurting. I fell out the chair early. I said, man, like this. She ran it.
So I'm saying, so there's been a lot of a lot of parents keep talking about social, emotional, and mental health. And you know, we invested a lot in social, emotional, and mental health. Where do we think it's been going?
I think that there's a lot of cases where there's money being floated around and people don't even know they have the money. They don't know what's in the grant. They're not using the grants properly. And I think that we have people who really don't have the skill to use the money. I know that people don't like it when I say this. Money is fine, but if you cannot provide evidence progress to those goals or evidence that those goals have been met, then you didn't do nothing but get money.
Yep. Yep.
So if
That's a
you
song.
invested in
Money, money,
literacy,
money, money.
that's right. If you invested in literacy and the kids still can't read, you ain't doing nothing.
You
So
ain't
talk to
doing
me
that.
when you're doing something.
Yeah, one of the schools, we had a grant to really turn some of our low performing schools into magnet schools. And you look, the resources that are coming in, but you say, but what's the plan? And like, how do you identify if you're even moving in the right place, or you may even be going backwards? But if there's no accountability, like, and there's nobody paying attention, and you ain't created anything that holds you accountable, it's business as usual. You're gonna get some money to get some contracts. You're gonna bring some people in, maybe people you know, maybe people you don't know, and nothing happens. It's a little kumbaya.
Don't forget the pretty PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Mm-hmm.
time they show me a damn PowerPoint, I'm just gonna tell y'all should look at my face because I be laughing at them. I'm like, oh, we got another pretty PowerPoint. Don't give me no PowerPoint. Give me some results. Give me some children that
Please.
can read. Give me some children that are college ready. Give me some children that go into the school building and they have joy and inspiration. Give me an educator that will move heaven and move hell.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a educator with some grit that and some relentless effort to make
Mm-hmm.
sure the children can read. Like, give me that. You can have this old word. Give me that. That's what I want.
Yeah. And but that's not a lot to ask for. And
That
Candace says my son was sensory seeking in one of his classroom. He doesn't have the self advocacy skills to let the teacher know that he had an upset tummy. They told him to go to the office due to behavior instead of the teacher using common sense. And so when we think about, the social, I just remember last year during this budget time, we got more money than we even requested. But it just keep popping up in my head, Sonya, because what I hear from parents, they keep saying that's what they want. I'm like, but that's what we got. Well, that's on the menu. We just may be out. It's on the menu,
maybe
may
out.
be out of service.
Man, that's unacceptable for me, man. Like,
Mm,
I heard from the ed commissioner, and she told me thank you for the clear sense of urgency and the unwavering message of holding them accountable.
mm-hmm,
My message
mm-hmm,
never changes. It will never
mm-hmm,
change. If you're looking for me to say something different, I ain't doing it.
mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it. I think we've been very clear. And our message never changes. It never changes. It never wavers. It never wavers. I know. I think once sometimes somebody got mad at me personally because I called out a local radio station for not telling the whole story.
Right.
And I said I was disappointed in them, and somebody got mad at me. Remember that, John? They got mad at
Oh,
me.
yeah.
My message,
Very clear.
yeah, my message don't never change. Like, tell it all. Make sure parents are fully informed. They deserve that. And stop protecting the system. Like, you won't catch me protecting them. I don't. I don't. I had a parent that called me earlier this week about something about that happened in the school and
Mm,
something about the educator. And I said, ma'am, I'm just gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna help you out so you can decide whether or not you want to end this conversation. I work
mm-hmm,
for students and not the system.
mm-hmm.
And so if you telling me, something that about protecting the system, that ain't my job. They got a whole teachers union and a front office staff to do that for them already. And what
Mm-hmm.
we don't have is people protecting parents.
Yep. We ain't got a lot to talk about. We ain't got a lot to talk about.
Play my song, Mint Condition. Nothing left to say. Y'all need to play this.
Mhm.
Hey, Miss Fishburne.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Since we, this is access denied, when did we have the press conference? Because I don't know if we got a chance to talk a lot about it or even show it.
Shit, I don't know what day was it.
Yeah, rocking or it may have been on Wednesday.
Wednesday. It was last
Yeah,
Wednesday. Yeah, it
but
was.
yeah, but talk about that, because we did access denied last Wednesday, and then, after listening to a few parents, you just decided like we need to bring public awareness to this issue. And I thought about it because I seen Miss Fitzgerald pop up, and she part of the new movement that we build, and so I wanted to make sure everybody heard.
Yeah. So parents, there was an instance. I wake up in the morning, y'all, organizing. I mean, our
Mm-hmm.
organizers, like we are growing a movement, and so everything we do and every thought we have goes to building relationships and organizing. And what I saw was someone talking about somebody else's situation. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and as a matter of fact, John, you was on there too. You hit it before me early in the
Yep.
morning. It had been about 7 o'clock.
Miss Taylor said it was Thursday. Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. It was Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? It was Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning.
okay.
It was early. It was before we even clocked in for work. And probably around 7 o'clock. But a child had been called the N-word.
Yeah.
She said the press conference was third girl. I don't think so. Because we
Yeah.
had the fellowship Thursday. It was Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, that
It
would
was
make
Wednesday.
sense.
Yeah, because we had our power hour during our leadership call. So it was
Yep.
It was Wednesday, but it might have aired Thursday, Miss Cree. I saw you said y'all call me Cree because your name a mouthful. We're gonna call you Cree. But she said no, it was Wednesday. We got it right now. We got it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the child was in the 5th grade. Little girl, sweet little girl, migrated here from Louisiana. So
Okay.
welcome to the big city. That's how we welcomed her, is to take her to the place where she should feel safe every day and learn. And the teacher is being accused of calling her the N-word. Now,
Okay.
children don't just make that
A
up.
student or the teacher?
The teacher called the student, a 5th grader,
Okay.
the N-word. John, I don't know if you remember your first encounter with racism.
Oh yeah, I remember very vividly.
We never forget it.
Yeah, very vividly. I can picture it right now.
Mhm. Me too. The biggest thing for me was at HG Hills with a darn food buggy.
Okay, I think we may have lost Miss Thomas, or we may have even lost me. Okay, yeah. So we did lose Miss Sonya. But yeah, I think it's like racism. The first time I experienced it, it was from a guy who I thought was my friend, and I remember him using the word, and it just triggered something. And yeah, we had it out, and we ended up still remaining really good friends. But it was shocking. It was hurtful. And so when I heard about this daughter story, and I saw how furious her mom was, and then I had a family member who was at the school who just confirmed it. I was like, oh, like I know the mom was ready to go up there, but what I can appreciate about our support for her and how we slowed it down and just gave her the tools in order to really advocate for her daughter and bring public awareness. And by the time Sonya, I don't know if it was like 3 or 4, the school was sending out a message and letting the community know that they were moving swift and fast with these decisions. And it was like, yep, that teacher is out.
So that teacher is on leave. I got an
Mm-hmm.
update actually this morning. The teacher is on leave, does not have any contact with children, pending the investigation.
Yep.
But I think the significant thing about the press conference last week, it wasn't only about that. It's about that. It's about parents feeling like their children are being bullied. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's about, and that bullying is about, staff and other kids, and, you know, IEP services not being provided. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so we had multiple parents who, what I call, filed a public report. That's
Mm-hmm.
what that press conference was about, filing a public report, making a public report. We had our own public comment.
Right.
And I thought it was important that these parents be able to do that, because see, that stuff gets swept up under the table, and some parents don't realize that it's also happening to them. Like, so
Yep.
what that did was it woke up a whole lot of parents.
Because I was getting calls.
I've been getting the influx so much. I tapped out last night
Right.
from the stress of it. I fell
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Taking that on is not easy.
It's not. It's not, because first of all, first and foremost, I'm a mama.
Yeah.
I'm somebody's mama. And not only did I hear from parents, but y'all know how I feel about them babies. If they tell me something, then I'm ready to
Yeah.
storm me in this
Yeah.
whole city. My hair turned white, my eyes turned white, and I'm helicoptered all across here.
Yep.
And
What you call it? Storm.
the storm, I storm on through here.
Mm-hmm.
And to listen, I mean, that stuff is heavy work. And I said it the other day on my Facebook, that I often have to find things to celebrate, because I hear so many things that are so serious, so many serious complaints that are falling on deaf ears. Children being assaulted, and you know,
Yeah.
all of those things. And the thing is, a lot of these things have a long-term effect on these kids.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Joyce says, I love to be in a public place and watch, racist parents steaming when their child runs to play with all of the kids. I love it. Yeah. It's nothing like seeing a baby who really doesn't see color, who just sees a human being and then start to realize that, things change. And we don't know if it's the media or as Joyce says it, hate is taught, but it comes somewhere. It comes from something.
Words have power,
Yep.
and that one word triggers so much.
Hmm.
And that one word, it ruins so many spirits.
I know.
And that's a fifth grade girl
I know.
who had her whole spirit ruined. And that is a serious thing to do. But not only that word, things like, you ain't gonna never be nothing. Things
Yep.
like, um, if you keep messing up, I'm gonna do this to you. Things
Hmm.
like, get yourself together. Things like, you'll never amount to anything.
Yep. Words are powerful.
Those words are just as bad.
Yeah. 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 And when a kid consistently hears that, it's almost like they start to take it on too, like it becomes part of their identity.
Yes.
And yeah, just going back to the mental health part, like we got to think through how do we get meaningful mental health support? I'll be transparent. It's been, a couple decades, but, I was seeing a therapist and a counselor all the way back in elementary. And it was Crystal Joy who comes on at Joy in the morning. She was fresh out of college and they would pull me out once or twice a week. And, first she was teaching me how to count down from 10 to, de-escalated, and then like she started to build a relationship, right? And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. But that was real social emotional health. Like she had a job to do, and not only did she do it, she did it well. Thank God she was even picking us up, getting permission from my parents and taking us to like the zoo or, out on the weekend to a restaurant. And so like when I think about social emotional health, I think about Crystal Joy and what she did for me and many of my friends who, still to this day, as I'm looking back at Corey and Dustin, like we don't have those same anger issues.
No, no. And trauma,
Trauma. Ooh.
Dr. Lawson was on here a few weeks ago talking about, trauma. And trauma is real. We all
It
have
is.
triggers. I have triggers. There's certain things, there's certain tones. If people use it with me, I will go off. Um, I know my triggers. That's the social emotional. That's the self awareness and being able to realize the things that trigger you.
Mm.
It's also being able to deal with those things in a way that's healthy. Though that trauma takes a lot. Like you can't rid a person of trauma completely. What you
Oh
have to do
no.
is give them the tools to be able to cope. And
Mm.
we've got to really focus on that as a whole family though. And I'll keep saying that. Like you can't have the not have the tools at home and just give them at school. They got to be used in both places, and therefore the whole
Mhm.
family may need that type of support.
Yeah. Oh man. The trauma, what do they call it? And it's been documented now, but it's called ACEs, right?
Yeah.
Averse childhood. Yeah, like I don't, and I forgot what the S or the experiences. And when you experience so much, like when you start to listen to, when I was in schools, like listening to what some kids had to go through with losing life, with verbal, physical, sexual abuse. Again, Sonya, I'm just looking back at kids who were, in my grade who went through those things. A lot of them ain't doing too well. It's this one kid I have in mind. She had her sibling was his life was taken, and I think about this little girl, and you can tell like she is, as young as she is, she needs therapy. Like it's all in her demeanor and her words, and she lost her brother.
Mhm. And loss is something,
Hmm.
and we all experience it, and we have to find ways to cope with it, and
Hmm.
that ain't easy. And we're talking about little children
Hmm.
who don't have the ability or the skill to even deal or make decisions. And I talked to a child last night, and what was so crazy was I told the child, I said, "Look here, you're having to be a grown person. And I hope I don't offend you, but you a child to me.
Yeah, yeah.
You a child. You a whole child. But how do you talk to a child that have to feed themselves, put a roof over themselves, pay their own light bill, and work and go to school? Like that's a whole nother conversation, y'all. That I have to be loving and empathetic to,
Yeah.
and I had to break it down and say, look, you a child, and we are not what happens to us, and you don't deserve to have to be this way. Like you're having to take care of yourself. And I looked at my children last night and said, how dare you? Like
Mm.
children, and then but my children then start to open up. It's like, yes, some of my friends at school, they were homeless and they had to take care of themselves. And my daughter said I had to look after my friends because I knew some of them were going. But she also talked about how the teachers would make cracks at these particular children that were homeless and say stuff like, "Oh, I forgot you was homeless, so I'm gonna let you go on and sleep."
My
Like,
God.
how you gonna say that in front of the whole class?
My God. And for me, I was so ready at 18 to leave the house. But honestly, I look how much I set myself back. Like, and for a kid in high school doing all that, they making it right, but they can't progress as fast because you're taking all your time and talents and you're putting it into just the basic living arrangements. So I'm pretty sure they're missing key things at school. They're missing key life moments, and they'll never get their childhood back.
And you want to holler at them because they late for school.
Oh my God. I look, I'm yeah. So
Yeah, we hear stuff like that, real life stuff.
and then Candace talking about the hero program is very hard to get into. You know why it's hard? They used to love like promoting the hero program. You know why it's hard now, Miss Brewington?
So they got a lot of people in it.
Because they got a lot of people, man. Amen. My
so
God.
Mr. Mayor, you know what else we want to see? We want to see houses that people can afford.
Come on now.
So we're talking about $700, $600, $700, $800 rent. I'm gonna be specific because what they say is affordable housing ain't affordable.
Not for Nashville.
You need to be able to pay rent at $500, $600, $700, $800 and be able to live somewhere nice.
Sonya, I ain't joking, but you can't even bury somebody in Nashville for a discounted price. In Memphis, I mean, I'm looking at Nashville and Memphis. In Memphis, it's about 10,000. In Nashville, it's 21,000. You can't even get put in the ground at an affordable rate.
You can't even die in peace.
I was just shocked. I'm like, that is a big difference. You can't even die.
That's so crazy. We laughing at that. It's the truth.
It's the truth. Yeah, Miss Taylor, exactly. I have to work 3 jobs to make it. I know so many people. 3 is like the number. Like you gotta at least be doing 3, right? You may have to do your regular job that you get a little bit of benefits from. Then you got your side hustle that you may do in the house. Then you got your weekend job. One teacher was working at Home Depot. He said, "Hey, I gotta remodel my house. Man, I'm gonna put in these little 25 hours at Home Depot so I can get 50% off the material." Like that was his third hustle. Everybody got 3 jobs.
Milk, eggs. The eggs went up because they said the damn birds had the bird flu. So we had COVID, the birds got the flu. It's all kinds of stuff happening.
Torvis says you can't afford to die.
You can't afford to die. You bet not. You bet not.
Candace says her birth mom died in 2007 and the ashes are still at the uncle's home. You know, we thought about cremating. Like it's too much. Like, you know, we gonna run ourselves ragged trying to build it up. I was damned if I was gonna do a GoFundMe. Like, and my dad, you know, he had life insurance. He had been paying life insurance for 7 years. He had a $10,000 policy. I said, look at God.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna get you better. My dad had a $5,000 insurance policy. He been paying insurance all the time. And so I'm thinking,
right.
He done retired from the Army as a sergeant and everything. This man had a $5,000 insurance policy. I was like,
it's so ridiculous though. It's kind of fun. It's kind of comical. Like
this had the nerve to die on my birthday. Dad, I'm still mad at you because you died on my birthday. My birthday ain't been the same. When I see you, we got something to talk about.
Yeah. Well, we meet again.
Financial literacy.
Financial literacy. We that's what we're gonna talk about next week, Sonya. Like we're gonna bring up some stuff. We're gonna bring
somebody on. Let's bring somebody on.
Okay.
Let's talk about financial. You know what? See, we're gonna learn to take care of ourselves. Because the system.
Yes.
Wait a minute. What find my tweet. What I look at my Facebook on my tweet from yesterday, and I want you to read it because I meant it for my soul.
Yeah, as I'm pulling it up, like, yeah, what do people want to hear about financial literacy? Like, what's the best thing? Was it the Malcolm X?
Yep.
Yep, we got it.
Put it up if you want to. I'll read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean it, and I mean it from my soul.
Now let me pull it up now.
It is only the Negro leadership, the bourgeois handpicked handful of Negroes who think they're going to get some kind of respect, recognition, or protection from the government. It ain't gonna happen.
Read it again. Read it again. That
It
touched me.
is. Malcolm X said it, and I second it. It is only the Negro leadership, the bourgeois, handpicked handful of Negroes who think that they're going to get some kind of respect, recognition, or protection from the government. We got to build our own financial literacy.
Come on now. Hey, look at Corey. Corey was in our cohort in our fellowship. He said Nashville is so money hungry, and the money always goes in the wrong places. But they got a lot of money for a new stadium. Money fall out the sky. It's manna at one point. It's
Tom,
manna.
well, I live at, they talked about moving the juvenile justice center down the street from me.
Come on now. They can keep it. What you say they can keep it? No, it ain't coming our way. But that just means, Sonya, this stuff been in place. They've been talking about the juvenile justice center move for 2 years, if not more.
So they don't want it down there by the stadium.
Because they knew they was about to get a new stadium. It's new to us. They've been talking about it for 2 years. Good people, I'm about to get back to work. We will see you guys. If you know a good financial literacy person, hit us up. Our producer about to put the email on there or send us a message on Facebook.
We got somebody. We got a partnership. Don't play.
There we go. There we go.
Send people our way. Like, I don't think it's too many. It can't be too many people to educate around this. Like,
come on now.
Love you guys. We had a great conversation today.
Yes. All right. And we will see you guys next week. Same bat time. Same Nashville Propel channel.